What's going on, Colts Nation? Appreciate you joining me for another video. And before we get into the video, just know that in the description there is a link for Green Gridiron where you can get mini helmets or authentic NFL helmets. Okay, and make sure to use the discount code INDSYN at checkout and use that referral code down in the description so that they know I sent you. Okay, so again, go to the description. Holiday season coming up. Mini helmets, mini helmet accessories, helmet accessories, whatever the case may be. You want it for you, your man cave, a loved one, whatever the case is. Mini helmets and authentic NFL helmets can be found on Green Gridiron. The link in the description. Again, that is code INDSYN for the discount code. I appreciate you stopping by. And now let's get into the video. What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video where today we're going to talk about injuries. And the Colts also made a signing that was a little predictable. I thought they would. And a lot of other Colts fans were like, oh, this sounds like a guy that'll definitely get picked up by the Colts. And he did. That's exactly what ended up happening. But nonetheless, we're going to start with injuries. Of course, on this channel, we always start with the opposing team. We're going to start with the Titans here, go through their injuries, and then we'll hit ours. And for the Titans here, there did not practice participants on Wednesday. Late in the season, a lot of vets don't practice. But nonetheless, here's what we're looking at. Tyler Boyd, Nick Folks, a wide receiver and kicker right off rip. Then they have Luke Gifford, Kenneth Murray. Didn't know he was still in the league. He's apparently on the Titans. Tony Pollard, Otis Reese, linebacker. Jeffrey Simmons, who noted getting a rest day. Tavondre Sweat, their rookie who's having a good season. Nick Westbrook-Akina, who scored a lot of touchdowns this year, and safety Daryl Worley. So a lot of guys here, especially on the defensive side here for the Titans that did not practice. But again, it's only Wednesday at this point. A lot of veterans don't practice. We have plenty of guys that aren't practicing either for various reasons. So we'll see what happens. But this is just the beginning of the week. But what we do know is that Colton Dow, wide receiver with a knee injury, he was a limited participant. And then the two people that were full participants that are on this list are tackle Jalen Duncan with the hamstring and cornerback Roger McCreary with the shoulder. Okay, so for the Titans, I mean, most of these guys, I assume by the end of the week, going to be practicing at least in limited fashion, going to be able to play. But of course, we'll keep this updated as much as I possibly can. Of course, Christmas coming up, stuff happening this weekend. I'll do my best to get any possible updates to you guys as soon as I possibly can. But looking at the Colts here and what the Colts are looking at in their injury report, Mo Alley Cox, hip injury, Ashton Doolin, ankle, Matt Gay, neck, Liatu Latu, illness, Alec Pierce, concussion, Michael Pittman Jr. with a back, EJ Speed with a knee. That there is our list of guys that is not practicing on Wednesday due to the injuries that they have. So a decent list here on Wednesday. We'll see what happens going forward. Ashton Doolin hasn't played in a couple weeks. Matt Gay has missed time this season. Now he's got a neck injury. We'll see what happens there. So between those guys, of course, Pitt showing back up with the back injury. We'll see what happens. Very likely Alec Pierce doesn't end up playing, but maybe there's a chance by the end of the week. We'll see how things go. But I feel like most guys usually don't play after that first week after getting a concussion. But then looking at guys we have one guy that was a limited participant. That is Juju Brents with a knee and coming back, getting his practice window open. So it'll be good to get him back. Good to get him back, back on practice. Good to get him back as part of the rotation. Now, what happens is he going to get back on the field? Maybe this is just, hey, let's get some practice reps, get moving so that we can get you moving again, get you back in a little bit of football shape here before the offseason. Then you can get into your offseason training. We'll see what happens. Obviously, Jalen Jones, Samuel Womack been playing pretty freaking well. Samuel Womack actually been one of the better cornerbacks in the league since joining. You go look at, there's other stats, and I have things saved that we're going to talk about at some point. But yeah, there's some good things through all the bad. There's some good positive things coming from this season, things that we can build on in the future. But nonetheless, Juju Brents, one of those things, coming back as a limited participant in practice, hopefully able to get on the field, and hopefully when we do see him, able to stay healthy. That's a big thing with him, just like it's a big thing with Jelani Woods, who So I'm pretty sure not coming back this year. I think it was confirmed early, like when he got the injury this year, like, no, we're not going to see Jelani this year. So I think we all just assume, really bad hamstring injury. But hey, maybe a miracle can happen. Maybe we can see him. Probably a little late to think that. Never thought Juju Brents was going to end up coming off of the injury reserve this year, at least getting his practice window open. But it's 21-day practice window. We have 3 games left. Very easily could be the end of the season and not matter. Again, this could just be getting Juju Brents back on the field. Okay, our full participant guys, the guys that we were looking at were a full participant in practice. Jalen Carley's coming back, did not play. But was designated to return last week. Ryan Kelly, the same thing with his knee injury, full participant in practice. And Tyquan Lewis, with his rib injury, spent some time on IR. I believe he missed this last game. Don't hold me to that. I can't remember. I can't remember him being in the game. So if he did play, didn't make an impact. But I think he might have missed it. But nonetheless, full participant. Those are 3 guys that are full participants. And then when you look at what we're looking at past the injuries, obviously because it's Wednesday, you really don't hold that in huge regard. But here we are with Ambry Thomas getting picked up, 49ers cornerback drafted in 2021 by the 49ers. And he's in his career played in 42 games, likely, special teams kind of guy for them. And he started 11 games at cornerback. He has 2 interceptions, 12 passes defended, which is good. So bringing him in and looking at his RAS, right? I went and looked at his RAS just to get a feel of what he looks like. He's 5'11 and a half, so almost 6 foot, 191, coming out of Michigan, a prestigious school in 2021. Arm length, 32.25. A guy with long arms, a long frame. I mean, Chris Ballard guy. I think that's why a lot of people thought that he would be a guy that Chris Ballard would go after. Well, you just look at pictures of him. You can tell he's got some long arms, a long body. So I think this is a guy that can come in and compete. Right, you're bringing Juju Brents back. It's time to compete. Everybody competing for a roster spot. Hey, who's going to be on a team somewhere next year? Who's going to be on this team next year, right? Who are we going to fill the cornerback spots with going into next year? There are different options, maybe, and hopefully, honestly, Samuel Womack can get 2 or 3 year deal, and maybe Samuel Womack can turn in to Kenny Moore, right? A guy that we take a chance on, and we just find a way to keep him here, right? Get him for a year, see what he's about, and then give him a contract before he's really, perform, right? We see what he did this year. Let's see if we can get him a 2 or 3 year contract, or a 3 year contract with nothing guaranteed in the 3rd year, and you can negotiate something in the future if he's still good, right? While you have Juju Brents, while you have Jalen Jones, will Ambry Thomas factor into that? Jalen Simpson gets picked up by the Jets, I believe, onto their active roster. I believe it was the Jets. Somebody plucked him from our practice squad. So one of the rookies gone because somebody else needed him. Somebody else wanted him. So going forward, how's the team going to be constructed? As we know, 41 free agents this upcoming offseason. Will Ambry Thomas, these 49ers corners, Ambry Thomas, Samuel Womack, will either of these guys factor into the 2025 equation? Will this be irrelevant news? Who knows? Obviously, somebody drafted by the Niners, somebody that just like being drafted by the Patriots for years. Like if you were in New England, everybody just assumed, hey, this is a pretty good player. Let's go ahead, sign him, see what he can do. And obviously sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't for other teams. We'll see if Ambry Thomas works out the way Samuel Womack has and see what this does for us in the future. But that's the news for today. Injuries, Juju Brent's coming back. We have a lot of guys out, but we'll see what happens through the week. Titans have a lot of guys out, but we'll see what happens through the week. And Ambry Thomas gets signed today to the Colts, so we'll see what happens with any of that going forward. Of course, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you continue to get notified anytime we have any more content coming out on this channel, anytime we have any updates, news, whatever happens, make sure you're getting notified for it. Of course, I appreciate you stopping by for another video. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.